Once again, I believe you are swimming in a pot of health. As you can see, I'm also doing fervently well. Okay, today happens to be on the 24th of February 2026, and as usual, on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and then on Sundays, we normally do meet on this particular channel to engage ourselves on an intellectual discourse. So tonight, if you see me on your screen, it's not anything new. I've come to share with you an undiluted word of God. So, as courtesy demands, kindly do well to share this live telecast with a lot of people as much as you can. And don't forget to subscribe to this particular channel in case today happens to be the first time that you're watching me. And then, if you haven't subscribed as well, and click on the notification bell so that anytime that we come live or probably upload a new video on this particular channel, you're going to get a link as well and notification. Don't hesitate. If you have any message, please, with all due respect, channel all your message, questions, and everything to the comment section, and I'll be very glad to receive your questions as well. Okay, so that's how I've been doing. Those of you that has a lot of or other social media handles, don't forget to share this live telecast to that particular handles as well. By doing this, it helps us to reach arms to a lot of people as well. So please, with all due respect, do that for me. So let's quickly go to the comment sections. I can see we've got some messages at the comment sections as well. Today, our very first question or message happens to come directly from the quarters of Ebenezer Dunya. How you doing? How you welcome? If I do buahin, where you are for Ebenezer Hinitachi. Say Ben, minim se bibia bokoya chia oba no ne abusua no mame. Minim se kakra. Bibia be yi. Minim se kakra bibia be dey. E be yi nti emo abamumu. Now let's move on to another question coming directly from Stella Champong, Michael Champong, Reverend Adakwa, Josephine Boateng, First Lady Constance Asari, Graves, and who else is again? We have a lot of messages as well. Kofi, Shana, Alice, Grace, Kunadu Mary, and then a lot of people. We have a lot of messages tended in here. Augustina Aquahidin, my biggest regards to your husband for me. Gladys Enim Bruce, Patrick Ahin, Paul Suman, who else is again? Mensa Richard, Theresa Clevey, Dr. Udro, Richmond Asari, Hudapi Asante, Elizabeth Osei, Vida Insia, Jennifer Pia, and then Vida it is a Bibia Boko, meaning say Bibia, maybe a fear Jesua, Bibia Boko. Mama Dinah, I believe you are doing fervently well in UK. You're highly welcome as well. Thank you very much. It's going to be good. Don't forget to share this live telecast with a lot of people as much as you can, with all due respect. Okay. Please, if you have any message, don't hesitate to grab your keypads and do well to leave the message at the comment section for me, and I'll be very glad to receive your messages as well. So that's how we're going to do it tonight. Please, file message in the brand any tentem. Why? You see, our network is very bad today. We have interruptions in our network system, but that's just by the way we have to do it as how it is. Now let's move on to the comment section. We have some messages over there. Now, okay, please, if you have any message, leave it at this place for me. Ebenezer Dunya says, Papa, please, apart from what is written in the Bible, is there any other thing you can tell us about Jesus Christ? I've told you most of the things that you people have in the Bible. I can boldly tell you that majority of those things has nothing to do with Jesus. When you read the Bible clearly, you can see that even in the Old Testament, it speaks a lot of volumes about Jesus more than the New Testament, irrespective of the name Jesus appearing in the New Testament. Jesus, as we know, is extremely powerful. Jesus was very dangerous. Jesus, everything revolving around him was very powerful. So those Pharisees and Sadducees, as at that time, they saw to it that they must do everything within their capacity to lock up some of the things that he did. So when you read the Bible clearly, you can see that it is written in there that it is not everything that Jesus did that was recorded in the Bible. So if it is not everything that he did that was recorded in the Bible, then what are the rest of the things that he did? One thing that you have failed to understand is that you people think all the things that Jesus did are coded right there in the Bible. But Jesus is way bigger, far powerful, and mightier than what you see. The picture that portrays, or what the character Jesus in the Bible, what they have written about him in the Bible, to me, what I know, the information that I have at my fingertips like this, it goes beyond what is in the Bible. Somebody having the gut to declare to the people that nobody goes to the Father except through me. You can never access anywhere. You can't go to heaven. You can't access anything good in the kingdom unless through him. So who is this man? You see, I've told you that when Jesus came here on earth, his main agenda was to come and impact knowledge into people and make sure to give them what will make them gain a divine illumination. So what Jesus was literally teaching was different from what the bishops and the high priest, as at then, what they were teaching. So in other words, Jesus' ministry, and with that of his entire life, became a threat. It became a threat unto the life of those bishops as at then. So they did everything within their capacity to make sure that they will get him eliminated from the system. But just that Jesus was blameless. So these people were not having any case to level against him. So for that matter, they had to deploy means and tactics to tap an individual who actually hails from the corridors of Jesus' camp. And this is where they were able to invade and link themselves to Judas Iscariot. So after they have gotten him arrested, did all what they did to him, the painful things that they took Jesus through after he was crucified, they paid military men and other high governmental officials to go to everybody's house and collect every written document, every information that literally talks about Jesus. So they confiscated all document that speaks about Jesus. Now the Bible will tell you that Mary Magdalene was a prostitute. But I bet to differ. I'm telling you the truth. Mary Magdalene was never a prostitute. She was a righteous woman. In fact, if you have studied beyond, you could see that even the apostles, at some point, they backslided. It was only Mary Magdalene who stood in. The first person to broadcast Jesus' resurrection was Mary Magdalene. At a point in the life of the apostles, many of these apostles got backslided. It remained only Mary Magdalene. At a point, the apostles went wayward. So it was Mary who stood in to engage the heavens for Jesus to frequently visit the earth. So these fathers of religion, I've told you that one way or the other, religion has come to do us good, and the other aspect to it has come to cause more harm. Why? Because religion has become a certain political system operating from the shadows, where the heads of these political bodies are dictators. They dictate what should come out and what should not come out. So after countless of meetings with various political heads, various royal heads, various religious heads, various traditional heads, they arrive at a conclusion that there are certain information that are very mysterious and too dangerous to come to the public space for people to discover. So all these that they deem it to be very dangerous, all these informations and written documents were held captive at the Roman Empire. So they, through motivation, through political systems, all forms and means were deployed to eradicate certain informations about Jesus from the system. So they realized that if they are to assert in the Bible that even the apostles backslided, it was only Mary that was left in the Bible, or it was only Mary that was left who stood gallantly and became faithful unto Jesus. It's like women will hold positions and gain certain divine authority over men. It will make men to look irrelevant, because after all, it was a woman who stood in for Jesus' ministry to be established here on earth. So all these heads of states, religious institutions, and political heads, when they met at the Council of Nicaea, they decided that they should fabricate a story and affiliate it to Mary and make the public to see her as a prostitute. And by doing that, no human will see her to be wealthy. And by so, it will discredit her status and power of authority. It will mitigate her level of authority in the Christendom as far as Christianity is concerned. So this is where they came up with these fabricated stories and coded it right there in the Bible that Mary Magdalene was a prostitute. It is a complete lie. Mary Magdalene was never a prostitute. She was a righteous woman. Now, when you read John chapter 21, you could see that Jesus says, Peter, upon you that I'll build my temple. You become like the rock. But even Jesus, being a being operating from a higher dimensions, who has power, the capacity to see the future, and by selecting Peter as the head of all the apostles, later on, according to John 21, Bible says that this particular apostle called Peter backslided. When you read the Bible, it is in. At a point, they were not getting food to eat. The apostles were not getting food to eat. And probably because of that, they left ministry. They left ministry. And when you read that particular scripture, it will tell you that 3 times had these people backslided. That is why when you read the Bible, Jesus at that moment asked Peter 3 times that, do you love these worldly things more than me? Why? Because 3 times that these people backslided. So the things that I know about Jesus and how powerful Jesus was as of his time, somebody who carries a direct identity of Yahweh. He carries a direct identity of God here on earth. Now, you see, when you read the Bible clearly and you operate with your senses, you could see that when you try to piece things together, it doesn't add up. Why? Because, one, the stories concerning the life of Jesus, the book of Matthew has its own narration. The book of Luke has also its own narration. The book of Mark has a different narration about Jesus. So among these 3 gospels, which are we supposed to trust? So you could see that even at that particular place, when we are trying to rub minds together and based on logical reasons, you could see that there are certain statements that were made in the book of Matthew, Mark, and then Luke. That particular statements were not worth substantive. Now, on the other notion that we must also take into consideration, where ministers of God goes about preaching fallacies to people, where they keep on telling people that Jesus came to die for our sins. How does that sound to your hearing? It doesn't add up. Why? Because why and how do we make sacrifices? Are we the one who has that has wronged God, or it is God that has wronged us? So if God makes or gives out his only begotten son so that we should kill him, so that we may have life and have it in abundance, that is a complete blasphemy Why? Because when you make such statement, you are literally mitigating the power and the authority of God. God is the Aleph, the Alpha and Omega. There is no deity who is superior to God. There is no spirit that is bigger than God. Now, in the realms of the spirit, majority of you people who are watching me will attest to this fact. Being it that we only make sacrifices to individuals or deities that are higher in ranks more than us. So if a fetish priest, a fetish priestess, a zangoma, a witch doctor performs sacrifices to their deity, the reason why they perform sacrifices to their deity is because in the realms of the spirit, these people who are the priests, being the performers of their sacrifices, are spiritually incapacitated. They don't have that much strength as comparing to these deities that they make sacrifices to. So in the realms of the spirit, the deities are ranked highly in the realms more than them. So it means in the logical terms, the deities are higher than us. So when we make sacrifices to these entities, it means they are higher than us. We make sacrifices to appease gods, to pacify them. Why would God give his only begotten son to the world? It doesn't sound. All these stories were fabricated because of King James, that evil man who has destroyed everything about Jesus. A righteous man, a holy man, a noble person like Jesus. Everything about him has been literally distorted. People are going around perpetrating falsehood. Which spirit is bigger than God for God to give his only begotten son to? He says, I have given you my son. Whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Why? Because when you read the Bible, it says, for God so loved the world, that is why he gave his only begotten son to the world. And who is the world? The world is literally the material dimension where things are highly populated. Demons are here, humans are here, and humanity is full of sins. So I have relinquished my power, my identity, and everything to my son. He is coming to the world fully charged, full of wisdom, full of the lamp. Anybody who believes in him literally believes in me, God, myself, because I've given everything that I was supposed to come to the world and do for you. I've given it to my son. So go to him. So if you tell me God gave Jesus for us to sacrifice Jesus, God gave his son so that we will kill his son, that is a complete blasphemy. Who is bigger than God for God to release his son to be killed to pacify before a mere mortal like humans will be saved? I'm telling you that if God wanted to save humanity, he didn't need Jesus to be killed. That is why he sent Jesus to the world, for the people to see Jesus, have an engagement with him, for Jesus to teach them and impact a true knowledge into them. So when Jesus came, the ministry of Jesus, those people as at that time, they found it a threatening, a very challenging. So they had to deploy means. So the people who were surrounding Jesus with that a duplicitous character, they were able to invade them and use them to arrest Jesus. So sit yourself down. Why would God give his only begotten son? The world is Satan. The devil rules the world. Matthew chapter 4, when you read it, Matthew chapter 4, when you read it, you will get to know. Matthew chapter 4, when you read it, you will get to know that the world belongs to the devil. How can God give his only begotten son to the devil? For the devil to sacrifice him so that we will be saved. Then in that case, the devil is bigger than God. The devil is bigger than God. The devil is bigger than God. Because anything that you literally sacrifice to, that thing is bigger than you. That thing is bigger than you. I'm telling you. This is biological reasoning. Stop applying any sort of anything to it. Logics. You should understand. When you kill something to pacify something, that thing you are killing to pacify, the thing you are pacifying is greater than you. So in the olden days, when they were worshiping idols and different entities from all dimensions, they were sacrificing babies, sacrificing goats, sacrificing cows, sacrificing a whole lot of stuff. Why? Because those times. Now, when you read the Bible says that the Israelites went to war with a certain nation, and that night they had gone to consult God, and God says they should go. They will emerge victorious. But in the midst of the warfare, the king, realizing that they are being defeated, he got his son and sacrificed his son to a god called Chemosh. Why did the king sacrifice his only son? He sacrificed his only son because he used the blood of his son to appease the god and call upon them for them to come and help him. So if you think right, not these people whom they have used religion to destroy. There are some of the people, their brains have been destroyed. They are still functioning within the corridors of the matrix. They are tied spiritually. When they say this, they go there. When they say that, they go there. And this is that. So anytime you try to give them a sound doctrine, they will come out with a counter message. Don't forget, when Jesus came into the system, people of that type were there. When Jesus went about disproving people, when they have instituted the law that on the Sabbath day, nobody should lay hands on anybody and heal anybody, Jesus broke that law by healing a woman who was suffering from a chronic ailment. And those people, instead of them to look to what Jesus has done and give him that maximum accolade, they never did that. But rather, they went ahead to chastise him, being it that, doesn't he know that on Sabbath days they are not supposed to conduct any miracles of that sort? All these are hypocrisy. You see, this was how those leaders had wanted the system to be, and that is how it has always been till date. So there is nothing you can change. So when you come out and decide to preach a sound doctrine to humanity, it will sound very weird in their hearing. Why? Because this is how they were brought up. They have been fed with lies. How can you bring God down? The whole Alpha and Omega, the Aleph, you bring him down. You know very well that in this existential dimension of humanity, or with the inclusion of the entire universe, the entire cosmic world. It is either the powers of light or the powers of darkness. These are the two rivalry spirits that are fighting each other. So it's either Satan or God. And at a point, how powerful did the devil become? How intelligent, how superior did the devil become to an extent where God was not having any option than to release his only begotten son for him to be sacrificed? How powerful was the devil? A devil who was thrown out of heaven's space, an entity who operates from the Sitra, the Sitra Achra. The devil operates from the Sitra Achra realm, and they all function within a cosmic law. The devil functions within a cosmic law. The devil can never overstep his boundary. God has given the devil instructions, and the devil can never overstep his boundaries. And you are here telling me that God sent Jesus so that we will catch him and kill him, and by that means humanity will be saved. In fact, when I hear stories like this, I sit down and weep. I weep in the essence that if you have been made to believe these cock and bull stories, then you have a very long way to go. You are very far from the Spirit of God, because in the logical realm, things doesn't add up. Because when I carry a goat, when I carry a cow to go and kill and use the blood, either in the process of appeasement or for pacification, that particular deity that I'll sacrifice the goat and use its blood to pacify or appease, it means that deity is superior in power to me. Let me tell you, God is the ultimate sovereignty of humanity. The entire universe was created by him. He owns everything. He decides to take it whenever he wants it. He decides to destroy it whenever he wants it. And no evil spirit, no black magician, no dark powers, no demon can ever challenge God. He is the superior, the head of all head, the primus inter pares of all deities. And you tell me God sacrificed his only begotten son to a mere entity like the devil? Lucifer had to work in the realms of the spirit and cause the higher heavens for God to sacrifice Jesus. My dear, this is a complete lie which was cooked in the bottomless pit of hell to deceive the world, just to propagate falsehood and make the devil to look as if he's powerful. The devil is powerless. Don't believe in those stories. Now, I have told you that when Jesus came, God gave him his complete identity. The only being who has ever come to this world and function on the same level as God is only Jesus, the man that the world called as Jesus. There is none here on earth that can be compared to Jesus. There is nobody. There is no single prophet, no single teacher who was better than him. He is a great teacher. He is a great prophet, a great philosopher, a great scientist. In fact, everything that has to do with this world was found in Jesus. And because of that, the Roman Empire, the political systems were shaking. In fact, the foundations of evilness were shaken by Jesus Christ. The quarters of the devil, in fact, the pillars of the devil that has been installed in this particular earth, all these foundations were shaken by the teachings of Jesus. Political systems were shaking. Traditional leaders were shaking. Evil systems. You see, when Jesus came on the scene, in Israel, there was a deity called Ba, and then another deity called Chemosh. They used to sacrifice humans to these two deities. These were the very deities that King Solomon went to affiliate himself to. That is why King Solomon was found of sacrificing innocent babies. Until today, as I speak to you, my dear, the bar has meandered its way in the hands of these political heads, religious heads, who have become three anomalous cabals: traditional leaders, political leaders, and religious leaders. They have manipulated systems and schemes to invade and interwoven the teachings of Ba into Christianity. So majority of the things that we do in the Christendom, it gives glory to that demon, that principality called Ba. All these top musicians, top occultic society, top secret societies in the world, they sacrifice humanity. The other time I heard a preacher preaching falsehood to the people that even when God wanted to receive the world and receive humanity at last, he needs to sacrifice his own son. You see, a preacher is preaching this to his own congregants. Now, at the end of the day, sit yourself down and ask yourself questions. What exactly is he trying to inculcate into the heart of these people? What is he trying to get it learned deeply in the minds of his followers? So, one day you just get up, then you visit a deity, then the deity will demand of your own child's life. This is why so many occultic society, so many evil demons, when you go there for help, these demons will instruct you to sacrifice either some part of your body, either your child, either your mom or your dad. These things has been happening. And when you confront them, they will tend to tell you that even God sacrificed his only begotten son. So what is wrong when you sacrifice? I'm telling you, this is a message cooked from the bottomless pit. It's a hell message, devilish, a complete devilish message. God is big. The God that I know is bigger than all gods and can never bring himself down to any power or any sort of deity. Whom am I supposed to sacrifice to? How can OPATAFUOR sacrifice to any deity? I can't sacrifice to any deity. When I sacrifice to any deity, it means I have submitted myself. I have submitted. I have brought myself to the level of that entity. I have relinquished my authority to submit under the ordinance of that particular deity. And this is the realities of life. So you see, the sweet Jesus, the powerful Jesus, the man who walked here on earth blameless, the man who functioned within certain dimensions, even demons recognized him, even the devil himself recognized him. He knew that it was God himself who has manifested into that particular body, into that particular being. That is why they said that we have the conscious mind, the subconscious, and the superconscious dimension, where it is called the Christ consciousness, the highest level of thought and power to which a man could unlock within the patterns of operation in the realms of the spirit. The Jesus that I know, I'm telling you, if you discover Jesus, not the one that they have used calendar to cripple and restricted your minds. So you see, you can't deceive yourself. You that is watching me, you know that there's something going on wrong, and you don't get certain things clear. How can you tell me this? Because of how dangerous Jesus was, physically, spiritually, intellectually, financially. A man who could cause fish to bring or vomit gold out. A man who could cause, a man who resurrected dead bodies. He resurrected countless of dead bodies. A man who performed a lot of miracles. And because of that, it made him to become very dangerous. And so the empires and those occultic society saw to it that they had to interchangeably change and switch certain things that he did to fit their evil agenda. The things that I know, the things that I've discovered, please don't joke with Jesus. I'm telling you the truth, because what is written in the Bible, majority of them, it was born from the corridors of the powers of darkness. Jesus is far mightier and far powerful than what is written in the Bible. I'm telling you. I am telling you. You see, Christians that I know, not the elect. The elect are the initiate, are the one that will enter heaven, not Christians. The Bible, it says, has set the record straight. No debate, no doubt. It is not Christians who will go to heaven. It is the elect. But one thing that I know is that Christianity, being the branch of Christ, is one of the best, where when you affiliate yourself to the right channel, I'm talking in respect to churches. There's so many forms of churches that has been established with their various doctrines that they are teaching. When you get the right source to affiliate yourself to, you realize that things will change, and eventually you become the elect as well. So you see, not Christians. Christians, within the patterns of their legitimate pursuit, they have failed. They have failed in the essence that they have failed to question certain statements in the scriptures. The Bible will tell you that Jesus himself declared to the world that I will use a day to destroy the entire Jerusalem building and cause it to come into existence for 3 days. This was a mystery. He spoke in parable, not knowing he was talking about his own flesh. He knew that the things that he was doing was very dangerous. Please, anybody who is watching us and that particular has inclined intellectually in some levels will agree with me that once a man takes unto himself to speak the truth, nothing but the truth, it means you are endangering your life. Your life will be at risk. And there are certain truths that will literally cost you your life. So these and many more are the reasons why Jesus kept on that. Because of the things that I have taught you people, it will provoke these people because they are evil. So no matter what, I know they will kill me. I know. In Jesus knew it. He knew that the kind of unction that he has brought here on earth, you see, the kind of unction that Jesus has brought here on earth, he knew that definitely it will cost him his life. It will cost him his life. I'm telling you the truth. Jesus himself, he knew that the good things that he has come here on earth, it will cost him his life. So wherever that he went, when he is seated alone, or in the midst of his crowd, or in the midst of his apostles, he kept on saying that they will kill him. They will kill him. They will kill him. Because what Jesus has come to do, it cost him his life. This is why they got him arrested and killed him. So, in a nutshell, because of all these things, there is a saying that something leads to something. One thing leads to the other. So, if you are to initiate numerical statement, definitely you will start from one, then you go to 2, then you go to 3. So one thing basically led to the death of Jesus. So it was the truth that Jesus basically came here to speak. The enlightenment that he actually bestowed onto his followers. He helped a lot of people to gain illumination. The understanding of people were broadened and highly enlightened. And because of this, those political systems and religious bodies as at that time, it will cost them. Their leadership were at risk, because at the end of the day, when the people becomes enlightened and gains full illumination, it means there is nobody who is going to waste his time and follow those people. So it's like basically in these recent times, as how many people have discovered the light. You see, churches are sinking. On Sundays, people don't have the feeling to go to church, because at the end of the day, it's like the church has become a business center. When you are sick, you will die. There is nobody who is preaching any new doctrine, any new or a sound doctrine. The same cock and bull story yesterday, today, and forever. So majority of the people who are smart, they have gotten to realize that it's a complete waste of time, so they don't go to church. These are the reasons. So these things that are basically happening in this end time, it did happen during the times of Jesus. People were not going to church. They went to Jesus for Jesus to teach them, because Jesus was teaching something extraordinary, something that the people, their spirits were longing for it, but they hadn't gotten the opportunity for their spirit to be fed with such doctrines. So when Jesus came, people were loving him. And when people were loving him, the love was costing the leaders as at that time. The most dangerous pastor was that high priest called Caiaphas. Caiaphas was a dangerous priest. He championed the entire cause of Jesus' crucifixion. A demon incarnate, a dangerous man who hated Jesus from the core. Caiaphas was a dangerous pastor. He had been in the system for so long, so people see him as a genuine man. He has manipulated system. He has an affiliations to top political systems and political dignitaries, top traditional leaders, the kings and queens as at that time. They used to go to Caiaphas secretly for prayers. He was deeply rooted in divination. And when Jesus came with a lamp like that, a power and a full force like that, Caiaphas couldn't comprehend. It became a problem. Jesus' ministry and that of his entire teachings became a torture in the life of Caiaphas. So Caiaphas had to deploy means, tactics, to get Jesus arrested and eliminate him as quick as possible from the system, because Jesus' ministry was costing them. They were losing a huge number of individuals. People lost interest in their ministry because there were people who were blind. I'm talking of physical ailments called blindness. There were people who were suffering from diverse forms of chronic ailment. Ulcer, diabetes, asthma, a lot. Crippled, deaf, blindness, madness, epilepsy. Some were demonically possessed. Some were obsessed. Everything were happening negatively to the people. But you see, Caiaphas doesn't have that power to heal those people. When Jesus came, demons were casted out of those people. The blind man's eye were restored. The cripple walked. People who were in financial state of bankruptcy. There are some churches in this country. You see, when you are poor, you remain poor till you die. The church will never show you any kindness, nothing, no support. When you die, they will bury you in a thick bush because you, after all, you don't have anything. Nobody cares about you. This were the system incorporated as at that time. So when Jesus came, he took himself to rechange things and reprogram the system, and it cost him his life. But you see, Christians, they have failed in their legitimate pursuit to sit down and reason like humans. They have failed in their legitimate pursuit. The charismatics, the orthodox, the Pentecostals, all this majority of them, over 90% of these people, they have failed. They have failed woefully in their legitimate pursuit. As to go to heaven, they have failed. Why? Because the things they are being fed with is a complete abomination. How can you bring God down? You bring God down to understand. It's as if God is a small boy sitting somewhere who is powerless to understand where, when he wants something, he needs to sacrifice his only son before he can get it. A complete balderdash, evil statement that ridicules the status quo of God. Why would God be called omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, and yet when he needs something, he needs to go and sacrifice? My dear, that was never the agenda. All these things were cover-ups by those evil people. All these things were cover-ups by these people. Why? Because they were having some demonic. You see, you could see from generation, reading from the time of Adam. You see, reading from the time of Adam to the time of Isaac, the devil major goal has always wanted to alter creation. The devil wanted to rewrite creation. He wanted to alter creation. So even when God picked Abraham, so that at the end, through Abraham, his genealogy will become an establishment of God's own. It was through Abraham that came forth Israel, because Abraham gave birth to Isaac. Isaac gave birth to Jacob and Esau. And on the turn of Jacob, this is where Israel came about. As at that time, no Israel. So you see, the way the devil manipulated systems and deployed schemes to switch God's agenda by pushing Abraham, for Abraham to engage in intimacy with Hagar, for Hagar to give birth to Ishmael, and the devil invading Sarah, for Sarah to become a quick-tempered woman. Every now and then, Sarah will lose control. So because of that, Abraham lost his peace in his own house, so he had to leave. All these were the satanic agenda. My dear, sit yourself down and reason. The Bible from Matthew, the assertion that it gives concerning Jesus' resurrection, his killing and resurrection, you could see clearly that Matthew says, when you are to calculate the real time, you tell me that Jesus says he will use 3 days to resurrect. Now you see countless of preachers who are out there preaching falsehood. They will tell you that Jesus died and on the 3rd day Jesus rose. Now the question in here is that how can you get somebody arrested on Friday? You see, he was arrested on Thursday. He was crucified and he kicked the bucket on Friday, exactly 3 p.m. thereabout, when an eclipse of the sun occurred. Now, Sunday, early at dawn, around 5:30, Jesus had already risen from the dead. Now, let's sit down and work things out. From Friday 3 p.m. to Sunday, to Saturday, listen to me. Friday 3 p.m. to Saturday, the same 3 p.m. is 24 hours. Sunday 3 p.m. is 48 hours. Monday 3 p.m. is 72 hours. So if you go on your pulpit and stand behind whatever, and when you hold the mic and you begin to tell your church members that I came to tell you that Jesus died and he rose up on the 3rd day, you know very well that you have failed in your legitimate pursuit to reason as human, because when you calculate that, it doesn't work. It doesn't tally. You are aware of it. You are aware. And anytime that you question a Christian with logics, you see the Christian fighting you. You are antichrist. You are the beast. You are coming to destroy the world. When will you allow yourself to be fooled as a Christian? When will you sit yourself down and learn? You learn the scripture. Learn it. Learn it. When will you sit yourself down? Come on. This is common sense. You sit yourself down. Learn certain things and understand certain things. I'm telling you the truth. Jesus is far mightier. Jesus is far bigger. Jesus is far powerful. There is no deity. There is no demon. You see, let me tell you, if you know whom Jesus was as at that time and today whom he is, you will not even joke with him. You will not joke with him. They got Jesus arrested on Thursday's evening. They humiliated him, did all sort of things to him. On Thursday and Friday 3 p.m., he was crucified and he kicked the bucket on that time. And you are telling me Sunday early at dawn, because when you read the Bible says that when Mary and the other women went to the tomb to go and check, 5:30 thereabout, Jesus had already risen. So is it 3 days? In a logical sense, is it 3 days? But you see ignorant and blind pastors preaching all this falsehood to people. Why? Because in their early stages in ministry, that was the very lies that they were fed with. Now, let me tell you the truth. You can only preach these things to people that has feeble minds, people who have failed woefully to put their cerebral capacity to work. You can tell them those things. Have you asked yourself, the giant people in the world, I'm talking in respect to the billionaires and people who are highly inclined intellectually, people who are well sophisticated, have you asked yourself why they don't go to church? Tell me, those people of a higher level of educational status in society, have you asked yourself why they don't go to church? Sometimes you see them as antichrist, right? It's because what you are preaching in the churches are complete border dash. It is rubbish to their hearing. Because as a logical person, when you sit down and somebody tells you that somebody kicked the bucket and rose up on the third day, and then you sit down and work things out, you see that it doesn't click. Now, the book of Matthew gave a wrong connotations about the death of this man, Judas Iscariot. At a particular point, they said he was arrested. He hanged himself, and then he kicked the bucket. At a point, too, the Bible will go ahead and tell you that he fell from a higher building and crashed on the ground. So, which are we supposed to believe? Matthew have a different statement. The book of Mark has a different statement. Luke has this different statement. Which of these are we supposed to believe? Why? A lot of inconsistency, a lot of contradictions as well. That is why the scientists and those unbelievers, based on what you people have been preaching, some of them have the gut to say that the Old Testament God was a demiurge. How can you tell me that the God who worked with Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, all these people, this powerful, wonderful God is a demiurge, a God that was ignorant, and there is a higher power? Do you know why? It's because some pastors and so-called clergymen who have failed to clarify certain things to some people. That is why they go about making fun about God. You dare not to make fun about God. How can you tell me the God that Aaron and Moses walked with, the God that Samson walked with, he is a demiurge, a false God? May God forgive us. And some of the things that we have heard, the things that we have read, the things that we have allowed the devil and those who are satanically empowered with a demonic tongue to be feeding our souls with. This is what you believe in. Sit yourself down. The Jesus that I know is very powerful than any occultic organization. Jesus' ministry was a threat to the people as a then. That is why they have to create a cock and bull story to cover up. You tell me Mary Magdalene was a prostitute. Who told you Mary Magdalene was a prostitute? A righteous woman who was powerful than every woman as at that time. A woman who healed countless of blind people. A woman who actually laid her hands on people who were crippled. You see, at a point, even Peter had to go to Mary for directions because they left the ministry and only Mary Magdalene was left in the faith. So the Holy Spirit always go to Mary Magdalene and delivers prophecies to her for her to also deliver to Peter and the rest. So most of the times, as at then, the apostles had to converge at a particular place and invite Mary Magdalene because she was very holy and righteous woman who happens to stand in the faith. But they turn things around. Those political systems turn things around to ambush the ministry of Christ. Today, everything about Christ has become a sin of mediocrity. You can say anything about Christ. Do you know whom Christ is? Do you know whom Christ is? There is no good teacher here on earth more than him. There is no good teacher. I'm telling you the truth. There is no good teacher here on earth apart from Christ. There is no good teacher apart from Christ. There is no prophet. Even Moses fears Christ. Jeremiah fears Christ. Habakkuk, all these people can never be compared to Christ. But you see, the Christ you people know is a different one. Not the one who came here with a complete spirit. You think Christ is a small boy for you to be joking with him. Today when I open the Bible and read, sometimes I just have to shake my head like this. I said, what is happening? What is happening? You tell me God gave his only begotten son to be sacrificed unto who? Who is powerful than God? For God to give his son to sacrifice to appease or pacify the omnipotent, omniscient. You see, at a point in the life of the Jewish people, they were going astray, and all the prophets who were literally sent to the world, they couldn't get these Israelites back on track. All the powers, the glory that God bestowed upon them, they couldn't. So God trusted in the image of Yahweh and then sent him to the world. At a point, you people call him Yahushua. At a point, some of you call him Yahshua HaMashiach. Some of you call him Jesus. It's not about the name. Let me tell you. It is not about the name. It is about the identity. It is about the identity. Who is Christ? Who is Yahshua HaMashiach? When he sent him to come to this world, to come and preach and bring people to God again, to reintroduce the ways of God to the people so that those who found it wealthy will come back to God. And the people of that time, they found his teachings and ministry very threatening. So they killed him. They killed him just to terminate him. And you all will agree with me that some truth will cost you your life. Some truth will cost you your life. I'm telling you, you people have been thrown away. You are wandering about like the wandering duke of the air. Have you met Jesus? Not the calendar one. Not the Jesus proposed by the occultic society who controls all dimensions. There are political systems. There are traditional systems who controls the flow of information into the system. They use military. They use the media. They use the political heads of state to control the flow of information into the system. Have you wondered, have you asked yourself how many times people are being killed and these political systems and heads of state, they don't care. You go to church, they get you arrested, they destroy you. Why? Have you asked yourself those things? Have you asked yourself? They intentionally proposed an image. Today, when you read Isaiah 44, verse 14, and then 17. This Bible will tell you that Isaiah, in his 40 days fasting and prayers, God revealed to him, the great God, the King of Kings, revealed to Isaiah that a day is coming that they will draw a man who is as handsome like never before and use that man to stand as a Messiah. And that man will be apparently the savior of the people. An image that was drawn by a certain category of secret societies. They drew that particular image and presented it to you that you must worship it. Isaiah 44, 17. Isaiah 44, verse 14 to 17. Go and read it. You will get it over there. Today, these images that we found in our various houses and homes, when you ask a child that who is this man, your child will tell you that this is Jesus. Do you know whom Jesus is? The highest authority in the land. The highest authority in the land. Jesus is the highest authority. There is no guru, no ekm. You see, I'm not just ordinary preacher. Do you know me? Do you know the research that I've done? Do you think I am an illiterate or what? Do you know the researches that I have conducted? The experiments that I've carried out? Do you know OPATAFUOR? You don't know me. You think I'm just a preacher, I just come online and preach just like that. You don't know the truth that I know. So Jesus that I know, you don't know even quarter, or you don't even have 15% of him. Have you asked yourself, the highest authority in the land, why are you being bullied at all angles? Being destroyed at all angles? Have you asked yourself why? Please. Jesus. You see Jesus and your life is still the same. You can't even provide for yourself. Hey. Then that is not Jesus. Jesus is very powerful. I have thrown challenge to any occultic society who feels and think that their so-called deity that they worship in the secret chamber of their abode is powerful. They should use me as a scapegoat. I don't have anything. I have only Jesus. If they will be able, all the secret societies in the world, I have availed myself. Use me as a scapegoat. When you go to Nigeria, if there is any witch doctor, a Zamboma in Nigeria who has power and can eliminate me in just a twinkle of an eye, please use me as a scapegoat. South Africa, Benin, Ghana, use me as a scapegoat. Why? Because I only follow the real Jesus, not the one that has been proposed by these satanic agents who rule the world. Thank you very much. God bless you. I am still OPATAFUOR. You tell me God gave his only begotten son. So who is powerful than God? Because so we say, ye koba for the dia, ye ba for the matumia or susene yen. Die ntina obi timi kasa papa me ba for the amount. Say nipa na woni trim say OPATAFUOR ade nyina mu no we nyame nipa enti osombo ana odimu ana tumi won so sene me. Enti which means me were ahead of that person. No ba for the man. Now see when Yankupon de doba ba kupa ma wiase say what the ba for the ama hwan. Ana Yankupon na ne kum ni ba de man ho. Na Yankupon no kum ni ba Yesu na eno no wanya de na afirim. Obi atumi nyina ya ne dia no. Tumi nyina ya ne dia. Tumi nyina ya urade dia. Osi wo ba for dia dia mo obi. Wan so so na urade wasase we so. Mamu na da mo ho. Mamu nsi nyame atwetwe mamu keka emususam beba urade no me ene urade abufu aba mo so if say egu urade anim ase tumi bi wo ho a eso sene nyame. Let me drink something small. Tumi be na so sene urade o no tumi de ne ba krokoma no bo afode bonsam akwa we nyame na bo no wi na mo bonsam no kura munim ne sei ha bonsam na mo kana asem no mo bonsam no kura munim ne sei bonsam no munim ne sei munim bonsam de munim aye entro na King James atrotro no the Bible mu di amamo no. Do you know who Satan is? Huh? Satan is part of the cabinet of the Sitra Atra. Listen to me. Satan, the devil, evil, Lucifer, is part of the Sitra Atra. There are two political systems that rules the world. And Satan is part of those executives. He is not the head. Lucifer is not the head. There are entities who are powerful than Satan and Lucifer. They inhabit a higher cosmic dimensional world. So Lucifer is a small boy. Satan is a small boy. When we are talking about power, he's a small boy. There are authorities that are higher than him. Do you know whom Jesus is? The head of all principalities. Pray for God to open your eyes so that you will be fortunate to even catch a glimpse of how Jesus looks and how he works. Do you know the dimension at which Jesus is? When I see people belittling God like this, then I don't know what to do. Then something is boiling within me. You tell me God gave his only begotten son to the world so that we should kill him, so that we may be saved. Look at how funny you people sound. You are very funny. You are very, very funny. You people sound very funny. Such fanatic statements. It's like when I see you people preaching, it's like you are making some fantasies. It doesn't sound. Unless you want to tell me that God is beneath a supreme entity who is higher than him. For that one, when you tell me that if there is another deity greater than God, then I will accept this particular story. Unless you fail to understand certain things. Thank you very much. You all are highly welcome. I respect you all. I respect you all, but we must correct certain errors. There are some people who has a satanic agenda. And because of that, they are perpetrating evil in the system, corrupting things. Do you know whom Jesus is? The concordance story that has been written in the Bible, that is what you have been made to believe. But instead of you as a believer to sit down and cross-check your facts well, so that at the end of the day, you get your objective right. You will not. Everything they tells you, you believe it. Who is Satan? Some of you people, you don't know whom Satan is. In your mind, you think Satan is somebody, a rival spirit, a counter spirit to God. Her. That small boy Satan is never a match to God. Let me tell you, Satan and Lucifer, they are part of the executive of the Sitra Achra. When we say Sitra Achra, there are certain entities and deities who misbehaved, and God has created a different world for them. Let me tell you, even as I speak with you, from the day of John the Baptist, from the day of Adam and Eve, the duty to which the great Elohim, the great Yahweh, the El Elyon assigned Satan to, he has never stopped performing it. He still carries on with his day-to-day activities. I'm telling you, I can prove to you. Do you know the work of the devil? Apparently, you people call him Satan, but we don't call him Satan. He has a name there. When God created him, he gave him a name. So the devil is not whom you think he is. He is neither powerful, neither has he ever stood anywhere to confront the entire heaven. You see, you people has some cock and bull stories surrounding the life of the devil, making the devil look as if the devil is equal in power and weight as compared to God. You are making the devil look as if he's powerful in weight and in everything as compared to God. This is what you people are making the story to look like. You people are making the story to look like the devil is in a competition. He is a competitor to God. But Satan is a cherub. Satan is a cherub. And the cherubs are under the seraphs. And the seraphs are under the iron and the quadrishins. So even in power, Satan is still a small boy. He comes no near. Do you know how many irons that we have? How many quadrishins? Do you know how many seraphims that we have? The seraphims that I know, they can crush Satan into pieces with just like that. Why are we deceiving ourselves? They have been preaching, my goodness, the omniscient, the omnipotent, and the devil is competing with the omnipotent, a whole God. The devil is competing with the whole God. So you see, the Christians of this end time has made the story of God and Satan to look as if Satan is a very tough entity who is giving God the toughest of his time. So at a point, there are people who are fed up with the story of Satan and God. So they tend to question that, why can't God eliminate the devil from the system? Why can't God eliminate the devil from the system? Why can't God eliminate the devil? If God claims supremacy over the devil, why can't he eliminate him from the system? Haven't you been hearing people saying some of these statements? Why? Because they are fed up. They are fed up with the cock and bull stories. They are fed up. And all these things are happening because the pastors that we have, they are getting the narrative wrong. They don't know anything, and they are never willing to unlearn the lies they have learned, to rediscover the truth and go with the truth. A lot of people are fed up. The devil is destroying us. A devil is a creature like me. OPATAFUOR, I'm a creature. You are a creature. We are all creatures. We were created by God. And we all have sinned in the presence of God. And then the omnipotent, whom we have apparently wronged, goes on to a level of killing his only begotten son and using his only begotten son as a sacrifice to appease us. Does it sound very logical to your hearing? Does this sound very logical to your hearing? So before God will get humanity back, he has to give his only begotten son to the devil. One day, I'll teach you whom the devil is and what he does for the kingdom of God and what the purpose of the devil being created. I'll tell you one day. Now, let's move on. That's just by the way. Yes, you see, ever since God created heaven and earth, in fact, even creation itself, I don't take much delight in it. The best thing that God has ever done for humanity was when he gave Jesus to us. The best thing that has ever happened to humanity is when God gave Jesus to us. Because Jesus carries the power, the full power of God. But the people decided to eliminate him from the system because he came in the fleshy world. Now, that is just by the way. I'm sorry if I've hurt your feeling, but that's just by the way. You people are getting your objectives wrong. Now, let's move on, please. With all due respect, I saw some certain image revelations. I received a revelation, and there were two revelations. One is for the whole world, and one is for Ghana alone. Please, with the issues of Ghana, I saw three grasshoppers who were actually hovering on the heads of all Ghanaians. And the very moment that I saw that these grasshoppers were hovering on the heads of Ghanaians, majority of them, they started falling just like that. And this that I'm saying will happen in March, on the first day of March. And I saw things being destroyed. These particular grasshoppers were destroying things in Ghana. So in the month of March, in fact, things will tend to be very worst, very, very bad. Economically, health-wise, things will become very bad. But I'm just hoping that the true believers, not the churchgoers, the true believers in Ghana will stand on their feet and intercede on the behalf of this country. So please, things will be very worse. Things will go higher. Things will go higher. Food prices will go a little bit higher, and people will start making noise just like that. It's a satanic attack. Now, in the month of March, something will definitely happen, because I saw a big rabbit destroying a 93 million populated country, destroying them, destroying their leaders, and destroying them to an extent of their petrochemical hub. Well, I'm tired. So in the month of March, something tragic. The big bunny, the big rabbit will surprise people. So things will go higher. If you are living in the country of this big bunny, you must take note of certain things. Greetings to you in the gracious confines of your abode. With all due respect, tonight I am OPATAFUOR